My daughter, Mia Powell, lay with her small body covered in tubes and machines. Her pale face was tinged with a sickly red. I rubbed my eyes. Somehow, I had returned to this familiar scene, witnessing the heart-wrenching moment from my past life once again. With trembling hands, I reached for my daughter's warm hand. My heart ached, and tears rolled down my cheeks. Mommy misses you so much, I miss you. I'm so sorry. My husband, Liam Powell, gently patted my shoulder. Don't disturb her anymore, let's go. It's time. At the nurse's urging, I forced my shaky legs to move, and we left the ICU together. We sat down in a cramped office, and Liam placed a pen in my hand. You've seen it for yourself. Every second Mia stays alive after brain death is just suffering for her. He gestured to the organ donation consent form. Sign it, let her be at peace. Hearing the cold, matter-of-fact tone in his voice, a surge of hatred shot through me, drying up my tears instantly. I slammed the pen onto the desk and shrugged off his hand from my shoulder. I'm not signing it. Mia is not brain dead. Liam looked stunned. But we agreed earlier, didn't we? You saw the doctor's diagnosis. This is the best hospital in the city. What else is there not to trust? Trust. Looking into his eyes that feigned innocence and surprise, I felt like I could see the cruelty hidden behind them. In my past life, I had trusted him far too much. Mia had been admitted to this top hospital for pneumonia. I had no idea that the attending doctor, Blair Lincoln, was Liam's old flame. Pneumonia was not supposed to be life-threatening. Yet after just one night away from Mia, her condition suddenly worsened, and she was rushed to emergency care. By the time I returned to the hospital, I was told by Blair that Mia was already brain-dead. Before I could process the devastating news, Liam was pulling me into signing the organ donation form. Mia was always kind. Her life can save others now. I believe she would want this. I was beyond devastated. Half-coerced, half-convinced, I signed my name on the form. What I did not know at the time was that once they removed the ventilator, Mia's heart was immediately transplanted into Blair's daughter, who had been born with a congenital heart defect. While I remained lost in grief over the loss of Mia, Liam quickly resumed his normal life. One day, purely by chance, I spotted him in a neighboring city's amusement park, with a little girl on his shoulders, and Blair leaning lovingly against him. I followed them, and when I confronted them for the truth, they joined forces and pushed me off a building. As I lay in a pool of blood, I gripped tightly onto the locket that held a lock of Mia's hair. There were so many times I wanted to escape through death. But in that moment, seeing the joy on their faces, the flames of hatred burned through my weakness. Now, given this second chance, I felt nothing but gratitude. Even heaven wanted me to avenge my daughter. Thinking about it, I wanted nothing more than to slap Liam's fake innocent face. I'm transferring Mia to another hospital right now for a new diagnosis. I will never sign that form. Seeing the anger in my eyes, Liam frowned. Layla, stop being unreasonable. You went home last night, but I stayed here all night without sleep. I watched the entire resuscitation process. I know you're in pain, but this is reality. Can you please control your emotions? I let out a bitter laugh. You're asking a mother to control her emotions when her child's life is hanging by a thread? Why did I even go home last night? Wasn't it because your mom claimed her heart was acting up and demanded I go take care of her? A flicker of annoyance crossed Liam's face. Stop blaming my mom, stop blaming me. It's Mia's fate that's unlucky. You agreed to sign the form earlier. Now you're backing out. Don't you think you're being overly emotional? I could not even bother responding to his detached attitude. Right now, the only thing that mattered was transferring Mia to another hospital for a new diagnosis and treatment. The Liam standing before me was no longer the man who used to play barefoot in our tiny rental apartment, splashing water on the floor with Mia. I pushed the office door open and headed toward the ICU, dialing a familiar number on my phone. I had not spoken to my family in 7 years, ever since I married Liam. They had strongly opposed our marriage, and I walked away from my family's fortune to start fresh with him in a new city. But now, the only people who could help me were the family that had always stood by me. When the call connected, I did not have time to explain. Choking up, I could barely get the words out before I broke down in tears. Mom, Dad, please save my daughter. She needs to be transferred to the best hospital in the entire state. Without any hesitation, my parents immediately got in touch with the top medical team in the state. After hanging up, I glanced at the clock on the wall. There were still 2 hours left until the transfer team would arrive. Just then, Liam rushed over in a panic. Layla, what are you doing here? Stop making a scene and come sign the form. We already agreed to this. The entire medical team is waiting. I ignored him and kept my eyes fixed on the ICU doors. Seeing I was not responding, Liam grew agitated. Stop standing there in a daze. Come on, let's go. Don't make the doctors wait. I turned and looked at him. Mia is still lying in the ICU, and all you can think about is harvesting her organs? Liam's expression faltered, and he seemed flustered. What are you saying? She's our daughter. How could I be so heartless? But she's brain dead now. There's no chance of recovery. She's just a shell of a person. And organ donation is such a meaningful thing. Mia always said she wanted her life to have value when we watched those documentaries on TV together. Isn't this fulfilling her wish? Hearing this, my blood boiled. A few months ago, Liam had suggested we watch some non-profit documentaries about organ donation together. Mia had watched them with tears in her eyes. She was so kind-hearted, even at such a young age. But now I realized it was all part of his plan. Mia's kindness, my trust, all of it had been manipulated by Liam. I summoned all my strength and slapped him hard across his right cheek. Get out. I'm not going anywhere. No one is touching Mia. I'm transferring her. Liam staggered back, holding his face in shock, and shouted at me. You're forcing her to stay in this world just because you can't let go. You're making her suffer a fate worse than death. What's the point? Her muscles will waste away, she'll develop bed sores, her whole body will start to decay while she's still alive. Why put her through that pain instead of letting her go peacefully? I glared at Liam, who now felt like a stranger, knowing that beneath his self-righteous words was a carefully planned, cold-hearted scheme. In the midst of the standoff, a figure rushed over and grabbed Liam. Liam, are you all right? It was my mother-in-law, Sally Powell. Her eyes were filled with concern as she looked at Liam's swollen face. Then, she turned to me, her face brimming with anger. Layla, how could you hit Liam like that? You're acting like a complete shrew. Mia's condition is beyond hope now, and it's not Liam's fault. Stop taking it out on him. And what's wrong with signing the organ donation form? The dead can't come back to life. Are you planning to keep her body at home forever? As Sally grew more agitated, her words became increasingly absurd. I could not control my anger and my eyes were red with fury. I raised my hand and slapped Liam hard across his left cheek. 2 slaps in a row left him completely stunned. Sally was completely caught off guard. She screamed as she rushed to check his face. She was clearly heartbroken. I looked coldly at my hand, now red from the impact. Does it hurt? Good. Only a parent truly feels the pain of their own child. Get out. Say one more word, and I'll throw this thermos at you. Sally glared at me and her lips were trembling with rage. Shrew. You're nothing but a shrew. The scene descended into chaos. Liam was barely containing his anger and he demanded, Layla, have you slapped and yelled enough? Have you vented enough yet? Come sign the form. There's nothing more to say. You nodded in the doctor's office earlier. You can't go back on it. With that, he snatched my phone and forcefully grabbed my arms. With Sally's help, they began shoving me toward the exit. I gritted my teeth and struggled with all my might. However, against the 2 of them, I could not break free. So, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Doctor! Nurse! Security! Somebody's trying to kidnap me. Several nurses rushed over but stopped awkwardly when they recognized Liam. He forced a smile. It's nothing, my wife's just a bit emotional. No need to bother yourselves. I refused to back down and kept shouting. They were the ones who started it. If you don't stop them, I'll scream all the way down this hall and make sure every patient's family sees what's happening. The nurses exchanged glances and reluctantly stepped in to separate us. Liam was clearly frustrated and finally let go of me. I breathed a sigh of relief, quickly checking the time. There was still 1 hour until the transfer team arrived. Just 1 more hour, and I could take Mia far away from here. Liam, what's going on? We've been waiting for you all this time. A sweet, feminine voice cut through the tension. It was Blair. She glanced at Liam with affection, noticing his swollen face, and rushed over to check on him. As soon as Liam saw her, all his anger melted away into tenderness. It's nothing. Layla didn't want to sign the form, so we had a little argument. Blair turned to look at me. My hair was disheveled and wild. Mrs. Powell, your daughter is already brain dead. You personally agreed to sign the organ donation form. The hospital deeply appreciates your generosity and sacrifice. I know this is difficult, but crossing this emotional hurdle is necessary. Rest assured, even though your child is gone, her life will continue in another form. I loudly interrupted her pretentious speech. You're lying. Mia is not brain dead. Your diagnosis is false. Forget about signing any form. I'm transferring her now. Blair shook her head, feigning innocence. Mrs. Powell, I know you're upset, but don't accuse me without reason, all right? I spent nearly 10 hours trying to resuscitate your daughter, staying up all night, and I still have other patients to treat. Yet you think I'm some kind of quack? We've prepared everything for the donation, and even the media is waiting. How am I supposed to explain this to them? Hearing this, patients and nurses nearby began whispering among themselves. Dr. Lincoln is one of the best in the hospital. There's no way she could misdiagnose. I think this mother is just too emotional, making a scene. As they say, there's always something frustrating about people you feel sorry for. Dr. Lincoln put so much effort into helping, and she's still getting yelled at. This is exactly what medical harassment looks like. As the onlookers turned against me, Liam's face showed a hint of satisfaction. Layla, you're too emotional right now. Let's go to the office and talk, okay? He reached out to pull me again. I was wary and took a step back. Don't you dare touch me. On the side, Blair gave a signal to the nurses who had gathered. Suddenly, a security guard appeared from nowhere, grabbed my shoulders, and shoved me hard against the wall. Blair turned to the nurses and instructed, she's too agitated. Prepare a sedative injection immediately.